All right. I've known Jason for about 5 years. We actually met through Taryn, and we've grown to be very good friends since that day. One of my first memories of Jason is of him jamming himself in my baby's pram and actually fitting. His little feet barely touched the ground. Though short of stature, he has the biggest heart. He's always the first to help out a friend. Laura, I think you found yourself a very good man who will always be there to support you through the good and bad times. And Jason, you found yourself a gorgeous woman who's going to put up with you. You're both great friends, and I'm honoured to be here as your MC tonight. Now, we've got all the reception rituals that you know and love, so sit back and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, the bathrooms are located outside over there. Obviously, this is a non-smoking venue, so smokers are outside. The bar, for those that don't know already, is just over there. We'll begin with a speech from the father of the bride. I'm sure it'll be great. Then Laura and Jason will be cutting the cake. Between the entrees and desserts, we'll have a number of speeches, and then the first dance of the lovely couple. At the end, we're going to farewell them with a sparkler send-off. It's going to be fantastic for the pictures. Now, one last thing before we get started. Each of you here has been chosen for a very good reason to be here tonight. It's because you mean a great deal to Jason and Laura. But you also have a very important obligation. It's up to each and every one of you to make this night the most special and the most memorable night of their lives. And to do that, all you need to do is have as much fun as you possibly can. That means dancing, that means drinking, that means laughing at all the stupid jokes even if they're not funny. Can you do that? Yeah. All right. For the first speech of the night, can you please give it up for the father of the bride, Jack Robinson.
Hello everyone, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jack, obviously Laura's dad. As father of the bride, it's my privilege to make the first speech. Got to admit, I'm a bit nervous. I've not made many speeches in my life like this, but it's not really because I'm making the speech, but because I've been married 37 years and I'm basically not used to speaking any longer than 30 seconds without being interrupted, so please bear with me. Firstly, I'd like to welcome Jason's family, Greg, Julie, James and Jordan, and all of the relatives and friends of both families, and I'd like to thank you all for coming, especially those of you who have travelled great distances to be here. I believe there's people that travelled from Denmark, Sydney and from Scotland, so it's really great to see everyone here. Laura was especially delighted that our Granny Robinson and other family members were to make the wedding all the way from Scotland. So it's great to see you. And Sandra and I really appreciate everyone being here to share Laura's special day. Unfortunately, we are missing some important people who could not make it today. Laura's other granny, her Granny Haney, who is not well enough to make the trip from Scotland. Also Jason's granddad and his nan, who are also unable to make the trip due to ill health. But we will be thinking of them this evening. My first thoughts when Jason and Laura set the wedding date was how much time and effort would have to go into organising their big day. I was quite worried about the whole thing, getting everything right. But to be honest, I don't really know what I was worried about. I found it all very easy. You just sit back and everything happens. Weekends have been brilliant. I get to watch the footy uninterrupted. Did not have to do any gardening for several months. And had a beer when I wanted to at the weekend. It's been great. Of course, unfortunately that all changes next weekend. Sandra no longer has to do any wedding planning. suddenly I will become the main focus of our weekends again. All the married guys will know what that means. Do this, do that, Jack, do this. I'll be back to that. Joking aside, Laura and Sandra have done a great job with the wedding planning. I'm sure you'll agree that York and Laureville Manor has been an excellent choice to celebrate their big day. Now a few words about my daughter Laura. It's been traditional in the past for people to point out and me to share some stories with the bride, the embarrassing stories, but don't worry Laura, I promise that I won't embarrass you. I won't embarrass you in my speech, and I'll keep that promise. Your mum and I decided we will actually go from table to table later on and tell as many embarrassing stories as we can. And as you know, Laura, after a few beers I can come up with some pretty embarrassing stories. I've got to say that through the years I've loved all the things that I've done with Laura, just myself and her. When she was small, teaching her to swim, teaching her to sort of play and go and watching her play basketball. There are lots of special moments like this, however, there's one particular I would like to share. Laura loved playing basketball when she was a kid, absolutely loved it, and she got that from me because I played basketball as well when I was young. There was one.
You weren't big enough for basketball.
One time I took it to a school holiday at a basketball event, and there was about 200 kids there. They had a basketball sort of shooting contest which went on for about 3-4 hours. It was like a knockout tournament, and I watched in amazement as Laura, who had the uncanny knack of sort of shooting baskets, continued to go through every round. She actually got to the final. Unfortunately, she got beat in the final. However, her face was beaming. She was one of the few girls in the comp, and much younger than a lot of the boys. So reaching the final was a fantastic achievement. I'll never forget her face that day. It was an absolute picture. Even though she got beat, she was so proud of herself, and I was proud of her. A very special moment, I'll never forget it. Now that she's older, our special time together is when we go out walking. We have lots of quiet time to talk about what's going on in her life, and I really love spending time with her when it's just us two. That leads me to today. I mean, what can I say? I'm the proudest I've ever been in my life to see Laura all grown up and getting married, and she looks absolutely beautiful. Jason, you're a really lucky man, for me, the key to being a dad is giving unconditional love, advice and support, encouraging you in everything you do, Laura, believing in you when nobody else does, and most importantly, being there for you whenever you need me, and I'll never let you down. I'm very proud to call you my daughter, and there's, unfortunately, I know it and you know it, there's still nobody in this world that can wind me around the little finger like you can. Now for Jason.
Yes, I am.
Don't look so worried, Jason. I'll be gentle on you. Not. Most parents of the bride would be worried that the groom would turn up drunk. I've never had that worry, but I thought Jason might go diving instead of coming here today. Jason's a keen diver. One of his many good points is basically I'm the beneficiary of his diving. I get lots of crayfish and jewfish. Lots of points for Jason there. But the first time I actually met Jason was pretty memorable. I think the celebrant mentioned it earlier on. It was on my birthday about 6 years ago. Never forget it. It was my birthday and I got a phone call. Sandra received a phone call from Laura to say that she'd been in a motorbike accident and was in the hospital, but not to worry, she was okay. Sandra told me that Laura had been in a motorbike accident. First thing I said was, what are you talking about? Laura doesn't have one. Sandra replied, no, she doesn't, but her new boyfriend does. Well, as you can imagine, my one and only daughter, precious cargo on board, and he managed to flip her off the motorbike. His fault or not, it was his fault. Not a good start, Jason. So we went to the hospital, and right away, obviously we found that Laura and Jason were both going to be okay, so that was the main thing. But turning my attention to Jason, It's expecting him to be a bit worried and anxious about meeting us, especially under the circumstances. He gave me the greeting that only an Aussie would come up with. How you going, mate? Absolute classic. But over the last 6 years, both Sandra and I have got to know Jason pretty well, and I would have to say that we're very happy that he's marrying Laura today. It's easy to see that they're both so much in love. I think it's pretty clear to everybody today how they feel about each other. And it's normal at this point to welcome the new son-in-law to the family, but Jason already knows that he's already part of our family and has been for some time. However, there is only one thing disappointed me today, Jason. As smart as you look in your suit, I really thought you would be wearing a kilt. Having said that, since Laura will be wearing the trousers from tomorrow, I can understand why you didn't. Okay, so that's enough from me. It's now my very great pleasure to propose the first toast to the happy couple. So could I ask you to please be upstanding and raise your glasses to the bride and groom. Oh, sorry. The bride and groom.